We're going to do the updates for two players potentially leaving West Ham United this summer in Emerson as well as Mohammed Kudus. We're going to start with the left back because the update comes from Fabrizio Romano late last night. He said, understand, Emerson and West Ham are planning to part ways this summer. Several clubs already started moving for Emerson as Graham Potter has already informed the player about approval to let him leave. Perhaps unsurprising, but a very reliable source with an update on Emerson. So let's discuss it in a minute. Before we do that, please do subscribe if you're new to the YouTube channel. And if you think you've subscribed, just double check. I gave people a reminder on Thursday, and over 80 people subscribed off the back of that video. Plus, I did a bit of a play. So I could use all drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up. Over 1,500 likes. Thank you very much. But the video got more views than any other video this week. Proof it works. It works. So please do click that thumbs up. Thank you very much for your support. Now, in regards to Emerson, it's unsurprising, but I'll be honest with you. I'm sort of torn on this one. On one side of it, we've got the player side. I like Emerson. I think he was good under David Moyes. Not very good under Lopetegui. And I thought he was good again under Graham Potter, and there's a lot of talk about how which players improved under Potter, and there perhaps isn't a great big list, but I do think I would have Emerson on there. I think he finished the season relatively strong and was putting in good performances. So I was happy to go into next season with Emerson and Ollie Scarles as our left back options, because I feel like there's a lot of work to be done this summer. Today, there's already a lot of work ahead of us. So if we could almost reduce that, if we could reduce the impact and how much transfers is going to be required, that could be beneficial. So I thought that left back role would be fine. To be honest with you, I thought if we could sign Kyle Walker-Peters on a free, that would give us him and Wan-Bissaka, Emerson and Scarles. As we know, Wan-Bissaka and Walker-Peters are capable of playing on the left-hand side too. So I thought that as a four, I'm happy with that group of fullbacks going into next season, because I think it's important we get a strong right back. We're going to lose Wan-Bissaka for a month next season, so I think it's important we've got a very capable right back that can step in whilst he is absent. But anyway, back to Emerson. I was happy to go into next season with him, but expecting him to leave, because we were told quite a few weeks off the end of the season, we're going back into March, April time here, that Emerson's leaving in the summer. Emerson's definitely leaving, and he was left out of some teams by Graham Potter. He was getting rotated quite often with Ollie Scarles on that side, but then there was that game where Sufal played on the right, Wan-Bissaka played on the left, and Emerson was on the bench. It was like, right, okay, this is a clear signal that he is on his way out of West Ham. But the good thing is that I like the idea that Graham Potter's been decisive. Graham Potter's evaluated the squad and he's decided who he wants next season and who he does not want next season. I'm pretty sure there'll be a few players that are on the list in the middle, which is if we can sell them and get a good offer, great. If not, not the end of the world. Happy to work with them next season. Because that's one of the things I was hoping he was doing in what I would call his extended pre-season, evaluating the squad and deciding which ones to in the summer. But that only works if you're decisive, and if by the time the players leave for their summer holiday, the ones that you want rid of know you want rid of them. And if that's Emerson, that's Emerson. I'm putting what I think about the player to one side here. And if Graham Potter's decided he wants to upgrade that position, or he just doesn't want Emerson for whatever reason, and he's informed him, and it means Emerson's agent gets to work to try and find him a new club, that's not a bad thing. It does feel like Emerson's been touting / desiring a move away from West Ham for over a year now, which is understandable. He's come in, he's done really well, and he's one player that will leave as an important player in our successful run that we had. I think he was man of match in Prague. Not everybody is man of match for West Ham United in the European final that you win, are they? So I think he's done his job, and when he came in, I was quite underwhelmed by the sign. I thought we signed a vanilla left back, and at times I think we've seen that, but there are at times I think he's been one of our better players through periods, mainly under David Moyes, but I think he was really, really good. I think this is someone we can class as a successful signing. But I guess putting my thoughts to one side and looking at it from, I guess, a business perspective, he'll be 31 before the season kicks off. He's got 1 year to go on his contract, although West Ham do retain a option for a further year. So it's essentially a 2-year contract if we want it to be. So we're not under pressure per se to cash in. But as I've always said, we are rubbish when it comes to selling players. And I think if this summer didn't require such a big rebuild, in my eyes, that actually selling Emerson and bringing in a new left back would make sense due to his age and his contract situation, etc. I think it does apply pressure on us to replace him, though. I don't think we can. I'm very certain we cannot go into next season with just Ollie Scarles as a left back, and I still want to see him as an important part. I want to see him as part of the squad. I think there's 1 or 2 players who maybe we look to loan out. We'll discuss that later on in the summer. But Scarles, for me, isn't one of those players I'd loan out. Yes, he struggled at times in the Premier League this season. Who cares? He's from the academy. He's a young player. He's learning his trade. Potts will have made mistakes at Portsmouth at a lesser level. Callum Marshall made mistakes at Huddersfield at League One level. It's going to happen. Declan Rice made loads at West Ham when he broke. I remember him ducking out the way of a cross that ended up in the back of the net. But I'll tell you what, I've never seen him duck out the way of a cross again since that day. It's the best way to learn. I thought Salah gave him a torrid time at Anfield, but after that mistake that led to the goal, I actually thought he did all right, Scarles. I thought he redeemed himself. He needs improving and he needs coaching. That's okay. That is normal. So I do think there's pressure to get in an experienced left back who ultimately would be first choice with Scarles as his understudy. Maybe West Ham have got someone in mind. Maybe we know someone that's going to be available, or we know someone that's affordable once we sell Emerson, and that's part of the reason we're looking to move Emerson on. We'll have to wait and see. I hope that's the case. That would be ideal, wouldn't it? That Potter and McCauley have identified a left back, really want this left back, and if we can sell Emerson, we can get that player in. But I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to not fall into this trap of just sell anyone, but there's an element of it creeping in with me. And I say anyone, there's a handful that's no, do not sell those ones. But like Emerson, Emerson's actually the perfect example. Someone that I was actually fine to keep next season. Oh, we're going to sell him. There's a big part of me that says good to get him out the door, because now we can start doing some business, because we're under pressure to sell. We're under pressure to sell ASAP. And ideally, I think a Gerd is the number 1 player I want to see go immediately because of the fee he would yield as well. Emerson, I don't know. I always struggle to price these players. What do we think Emerson's worth? Get involved in the comments. Let me know. What do you think is acceptable? What do you think he'll go for? Often 2 very different answers. I think between 5 and 10 million. I think it might be closer to 5 than 10. I don't know, 6, 7 million we might get. I don't know, something like that. I think that would be a fair fee as well for someone, like I said, there's going to be 31 before the season kicks off. And whoever gets him is getting a very good, capable, reliable left back. I'm assuming he'll go back to Italy. He's been strongly linked to Lazio for what it's worth. That's been the team that's been linked to him the most. Right. Enough about Emerson. Let's talk about Mohammed Kudus. But before we do that, remind you, we've got a sale on. Our store closing down sale. Go have a look. I've added more items to the sale yesterday, including Christmas jumpers. If you haven't got a Christmas jumper, go get one. They've got a £5 off at the minute. Some of the Prague t-shirts are reduced even further. Some prints are on offer. Mugs are on offer, although we're running low on stock on some of the mugs. So be quick if you want a mug, because once they're gone, they're gone. The store will be closing down. Oddballs messaged yesterday, very convenient time. They emailed yesterday to say the boxers are expected to be with them by the end of the month, so they'll be with us in July at some point. Thank you to everyone that's pre-ordered them. We'll get them out to you. If not, you can go pre-order them if you want. There's no, the boxers will not go on sale. I can 100% guarantee you the boxers will not go on sale. The signed items will not go on sale. The Oddballs hats will not go on sale. The books by Tony Gale, Jimmy Walker, Bill Garner, Cass Pennant, they will not go on sale. They will not be reduced at all. If they're not sold when we take the store down, we're keeping them. Anyway, hammerschatstore.com, links in the description and the pinned comments. Mohammed Kudus, he hasn't necessarily been linked to a move to Man United over the last couple of days, but circumstances are changing for them. The circumstances have changed at Bayer Leverkusen, which is also a potential destination. Kudus has not been linked to Bayer Leverkusen. I want to make this clear. He's not been linked to Bayer Leverkusen, and he was linked to Man United a couple of weeks ago with that Jadon Sancho deal. But in the last day or two, he has not been linked to either club. This is just merely an opinion. Let's start with Leverkusen first of all. I think this would be a good destination for him. Now, there's an obvious link there with Erik ten Hag replacing Xabi Alonso. Leverkusen have just sold Wirtz for 100 million, potentially 115 million. There's an argument going on about how much he costs. I think it's 100 million plus 15, 60 million of add-ons. And some broadcasters are saying it's 100 million, others are saying it's 116. There's a big argument because obviously Caicedo's in there. Anyway, Bayer Leverkusen have just got 100 million for Wirtz. They've got money. Mohammed Kudus is former manager who I think got the best out of Kudus so far in his career. I think Kudus' best spell has come with Ten Hag. Therefore, it makes sense. I think it's a type of deal that you would see Leverkusen sanction as well, because they're not afraid to spend big money, Leverkusen. They get a lot of praise for selling players at a profit, and understandably so, they're very good at it. But they don't mind spending cash on talent. I'm hoping Leverkusen do come in because we've just established we know they have a £100 million sale. So if they could get Kudus for 60, 70 million, they're banking a lot of money and they're getting a very talented player who I think would rip it up in the Bundesliga. As per Man United a couple of weeks ago, they were the one, and this is important, Man United were the ones, according to reports, that inquired about Kudus from West Ham and were trying to put Sancho in on the deal. It wasn't that West Ham went to Old Trafford and said, hey, we want Jadon Sancho, do you want Kudus? It was the other way around. They apparently approached West Ham to try and get Kudus. And the circumstances that are currently possibly changing there is Bryan Mbeumo. Now, I dismissed the Kudus to Man United link previously because they were expected to sign Bryan Mbeumo. He hasn't said, but reliable journalists, including David Ornstein, have said Mbeumo has chosen Manchester United. And I think there was maybe an expectation, certainly on my part, they would go to Newcastle United. And it felt like Man U were in a one-horse race for Mbeumo. Now, they had bids rejected by Brentford for 50 million plus 10 million of add-ons, so it's worth 60. And that's my concern here. But that's been rejected by Brentford. Man United and Brentford have both been playing hardball with this negotiations, but the reason it's changed is, of course, Thomas Frank has now joined Spurs as their new manager, and immediately Mbeumo's been linked with a move to Spurs, and apparently the player is open to move there, and that one of the big reasons he was incentivised by going to Man United was the wages on offer, and if Spurs can match them, then suddenly he's got a big decision to make. Man United, no European football. Spurs, Thomas Frank, Champions League football. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I would almost expect him to go to Spurs if offers were compatible. But what that could mean is that Man United are left without Mbeumo, and they're left looking a little bit stupid as well, because they had a good week or two of negotiating with Brentford and nobody else was in the running for them. And they've absolutely possibly messed this one right up, and it's allowed Spurs to get in there. And if that happens, maybe Man United will come back in for Kudus. My concern with that would be we can see what we're led to believe what they're offering for Mbeumo, which is 50 plus 10. That's, for me personally, that is not sufficient. I'd want 60 guaranteed plus add-ons. They're reluctant to do that for Mbeumo, who is arguably their number one transfer target for that position. I guess you could dispute that and say, well, hang on, if they did actually come in for Kudus, is Mbeumo actually their number one target, or was it Kudus? I guess we may discover over the next couple of weeks. I'm just desperate to see us get some money in so we can start making moves. Because at the minute, I don't like this, and it feels self-inflicted. It feels internal, this sanction that we have to sell before we buy. But let's just accept it, right? Let's just go with me a minute. Let's just accept it. We have to sell before we buy. Then I feel like Macaulay and Potter, up until we sell a player, they're blameless in my opinion. If that is the real thing, if we genuinely cannot buy a player until we sell a player, then they are blameless. They can identify every player they want. They can start making inquiries, even start making sort of soft bids if you like. But until we sell a player, they can't actually buy that player. Then they're stuck. They're completely stuck and blameless. I know people say, well, hang on, in January they must have agreed. But my point is, in regards to bringing in players, there's not much you can do until someone leaves. I think it's important we get people out the door ASAP, even if it's just Emerson, even if it's just 8 million, because of the way PSR works, that's actually a beneficial sale to West Ham. And it means you can spend more than 8 million PSR-wise. The big issue here, in my opinion, is cash flow, not PSR. Although saying that, West Ham have had a bit of a win yesterday. We'll finish up with this one. CSKA Moscow, funny enough, I mentioned it in the video yesterday, put the video up, and then seen about 10 minutes later, a report came out about this. We still owe Moscow 10 million for Vlasic, which we've refused to pay due to the sanctions coming out of the UK on Russia because of the war in Ukraine. Now, Moscow have been trying to get that money out of West Ham, saying, oh, come on, you owe us 10 million, pay it. Well, it ruled in favour of West Ham, which is we don't have to pay it yet. So there's a 10 million Brucey bonus there for West Ham. Not really, we still owe them, we just don't have to pay it yet. Now, Moscow, CSKA are going to be appealing this because they want their money now, understandably. But little financial victory for West Ham. Right, I'm off. Whatever you're up to today, have a fantastic day, and best of luck to Finlay. If he plays for England today, I think he will. I think he'll be the number one for the tournament. And if so, that's an incredible achievement for them, and also for West Ham, actually. I hope he does play. I'm going to try and watch the game. I assume it's being broadcast somewhere. It might be on YouTube or something. So if he does play, I'm going to watch it. And then back to the under-21s tomorrow. I've got the Club World Cup starting as well, which unsure what to make of that, but it's football, isn't it? Right, I'm off. Hopefully you've already dropped a like on the video, but if not, please do it now. Subscribe. Closing down sale at hammerschatstore.com. There might just be something you like. Go have a look, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.